What you manifest in your mind, you can bring to reality.
Quentin Tarantino has a new movie coming out, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And with that being said, I felt like revisiting one of his last movies, The Hateful Eight, which is recently put in on Netflix as a 4-part series, extended version series. So it's split up into 4 episodes. Each episode is about 50 minutes. And it is the extended version that apparently played in limited release in theaters and for whatever reason was chopped up into 4 episodes with title cards, and which I can kind of get. Netflix is doing this with a lot of unconventional stuff, splitting them up into episodes, but the way Netflix works when it's done with an episode and rolls into the next episode, it's almost as if this is there is no edits. It's like you're watching this movie as if it was portrayed in the theater, which I went and saw Hateful Eight in theaters, the original version, not the extended version. I was living in Denver at the time and decided to go to a theater downtown Denver, which is a really nice theater. But went and watched it there, and this was the one that had an intermission halfway through. I believe it had an intermission. I don't know if I don't remember getting up or anything. It seemed like maybe it just started. Like there was a little break, and then the second half started. There wasn't much different necessarily in this version of Hateful Eight. Obviously, there was more added to it. The times that I noticed the new additions to this movie or this version were different conversations, like in the beginning, where Samuel L. Jackson's character runs into Kurt Russell and on their way to Red Rocks, kind of out in the snow, and Samuel L. Jackson has 3 bounties that he's bringing in to cash in on. And there's a little extra conversation with him and the guy who drives the cart. So it's just extra conversations, it seems like, that help round out. I enjoyed it. I don't think it was, it being missing from the original doesn't really do much to take away from the overall storytelling of the first or the edited version. But it does add more. It just fleshes out just these characters and just situations more. Quentin Tarantino in general is known for people sitting around talking. His writing of dialogue is amazing, and this is a movie that highlights it in a lot of ways. It's forced in a lot of ways to be heavy on the writing because it is a very just minimal movie. If you haven't seen it, I read an article just before recording this. It's regarded as one of his lesser known, or not lesser known, but less. I forget how they worded it. Underappreciated, I believe. Which I would say Jackie Brown is that movie to this day. I don't think Hateful Eight is that at all. Being his last movie, being a Western, he did the World War II, he did the Western, now he's doing the Hollywood in the 70s, maybe 80s, I don't know, I think 70s, 80s. And I think he's doing one more film after Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, so this would be, second to last film, and it's shot. I remember there being a big hubbub about. I think he used the millimeter for the lens that he used on the or the specific camera that he used was one that's it's not wide angle, and this movie takes place primarily in a little cabin while the characters are waiting out a blizzard. And this is Colorado back in, whatever, hundreds during the Old West times. And they're bringing in bounties to Red Rock for people to be hung. And it's kind of like a whodunit in a lot of ways because one of the characters is a part of a gang and of course they're worried that the gang is going to help break this prisoner out, and I just overall, it's a really great movie. I enjoyed it a lot. It is slow. It is just people inside of a building talking, and trying to figure out. Watching it again, it really centers more around Samuel L. Jackson's character than I had remembered from the first one, as far as just his interactions with things. He, survives till the end, I believe. I don't know. I just watched this, and for some reason, I can't remember how it ends. Maybe it just ends, because he gets shot in the balls. Like, things go awry around the fourth episode, I believe. Or maybe it's the third episode. And, people start getting uncovered about who they are, and shit goes down. And, overall, it's a great movie. Focused primarily around Samuel L. Jackson. And the only thing that I do not like, and it was a criticism when the movie first came out, was after the intermission, there is a narrator that comes on, which I believe it's Tarantino, to kind of, in a way, catch everybody up to where we are so far. But then the story goes back and shows kind of the prequel to things that happened before they arrived at the cabin, like how these other people showed up at the cabin. So it kind of jumps back in time, and the narrator sets up, in a way, also what's going on. And I don't really have a problem necessarily with the function of what the narrator's doing. I just have a problem with Tarantino doing it. I believe it's Tarantino, but whoever is actual narrator, I think it would have been better with a different narrator. I just think the voice of it takes it out, because he's doing it's a very upbeat kind of joyful narration, despite it being the tone of the movie. Tonally, it doesn't fit. Let's put it that way. It's very bright and joyful, versus the tone is very dark and mysterious. So the contrast of the narration, and again, watching it rewatching it with the extended version, it had the same effect, where it was like, I get the purpose of this narration. I agree that it helps, especially watching it the second time. It's like, well, could they have done without it completely? It's like, nah, it helps kind of keep you from being lost with what's going on, in a way. And it is such a long story that maybe you need to have things clarified. I just think the voice just doesn't fit the tone of the movie. But I really enjoyed the 4-part series. I don't really have a problem with the fact that it's split up in episodes, even though each episode does have the credits and things. But the way Netflix is engineered, it just rolls right into the next episode anyway. So it's not really a big deal. And I think Tarantino is the one that chopped it up. So it was handled by the director. So I don't really have a problem with it, despite reading people having issues with it. I enjoyed it. And the extended version, didn't add so much to where, I don't know, it was just nice. It was nice. It's what I would imagine the quote-unquote Snyder cut is going to do for whatever fucking movie people think that his director's cut is going to be better than. It's like the movie itself, speaking about Zack Snyder's movies, are really horrible. They're just really bad movies. He's not a good director. So adding more scenes to an already bad movie isn't going to make the movie good, because so much of it is bad. Maybe it will help clear up some of the confusion, but overall it's still going to be a bad movie. So begging for the Snyder cut, like it's supposed to be it's supposed to make everything okay. It's not like a completely different movie. And this isn't a completely different movie. It just adds a little bit more, and I enjoyed it. And looking forward to the new Tarantino film coming out soon, which I will talk about. But new episodes of This Day come out daily. Subscribe on IGTV, YouTube, and everywhere else podcasts are found. Go buy my artwork over at inspireddisorder.com. Save 10% when you use coupon code INSPIRED. Follow me on social media at Ray Taylor. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Peace out!